Please, please have PG. Please have PG, so I can actually use VOWING SABER. Please, 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 please. No! Yes! Heal! Yes! Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Good lad. You did good, El Tanjiros. You healed. My man. You did it. Oh my god. Thank you. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Finally back at the deck profile series. Today we have a really fun deck. I think it's a really great addition to the Narukami clan. Might not be the mightiest, might not be the strongest. Narukami is a really strong clan with a lot of great options after all, but definitely a really fun one, and that is VOWING SABER Reverse, the first cross break ride to come to Vanguard 0. So this is really exciting. I think that this deck has a lot of flavor in it, and is really nice for those who really like to play that grind game or that really big crit pressure plays. So let's get started with the deck list. I hesitated because I forgot if I started recording or not, and then I'd have to go do that all over again. So let's go check out the list real quick. We're going to start off with the Eradicator, Blade Hang Draco Kid. Now, this card skill is Rearguard Circle. When your opponent's Rearguard is retired by your Eradicator's effect, if your Vanguard is Vowing, put this into your soul and give it +3/+1 crit. You might think that, oh yeah, you know, minusing 1 for that crit that VOWING SABER Reverse already would have gotten you was bad. 3k doesn't really do anything substantial anyways, but sometimes you want to break ride and you don't really want to proc that skill yet. Sometimes you might go Vowing into Vowing and you can still proc Draco Kid. Most of the time, you're using it with Lorentz Force Dragon, which is a great cheap retire option, and I'll cover later. But what it means is that Blade Hang Draco Kid gives the opponent pressure that on your first grade 3 turn, you can have crit pressure. On your second grade 3 turn, you can also have crit pressure. You could also just, you know, put all your coins, put everything into one basket, and go for broke with that VOWING SABER turn as well. So Draco Kid gives you that flexible crit option that that you might need in most matches. That this is honestly one of the key centerpieces. I see why people tried Linshu. I tried Linshu. I tried Sparky Dragoon, the Grade 3 Searcher, but honestly, Draco Kid is a really good card. Surprisingly. I didn't really think of that. My initial impression wasn't that great with this card, but after playing it, I think it's a pretty good card, especially in this deck. And even if you don't choose to proc it, even if you don't need to, or you really need that board presence, it is an Eradicator, it is a lock target, and that is really great on its own as well. Next, we're going to play 4 PGs because it's an Eradicator, and you play 4 PGs because you should. We play 4 Shuki because, well, you're going to be retiring quite often with VOWING SABER Reverse, or retiring 2 at a time. You have a lot of cheap retire options actually, so hitting 10k, 13k numbers are great. In addition, just through break riding, if you have this on the board, it is a 10k booster and helps you hit those numbers that you might need, and it can hit it by itself again. So retiring isn't that difficult to achieve with this build, and Shuki is really great because it's flexible in terms of as a booster or as an attacking unit as well. In addition, we have Demolition Dragon. Demolition Dragon, I think, is much more valuable in this build than in other Eradicator builds because, well, sometimes you will have locked back roads and you gotta have units that can swing by itself. Well, Demolition Dragon, even if you're low on resources, can swing by itself, moving it from the back row to the front row, and it's still a 7k booster. It's great. In this build, you do want more Eradicator names because VOWING SABER Reverse, VOWING SABER does want Eradicator named units only because its lock skill requires Eradicator names. So that's why you will see less maybe Desert Gunners or Phoenixes in this build, simply because your main strategy revolves around locking Eradicators, and you gotta have Eradicators to lock in the first place, right? Don't clog your board with too many Phoenixes or whatnot. So that's why we play Demolition Dragon. It's a great card. Again, even in other builds, Demolition Dragon is an option simply because there are so many great cards in Narukami overall. It is a tough pick, but in this deck, definitely Demolition Dragon is a great pick. And lastly, we still play 2 Rising Phoenixes because, well, Narukami has always suffered from card draw. On play Soul Blast 2, draw 1 when you don't really use the soul is really great. And overall, I do think that it is a good card, even if you can't use it as a lock target. Well, you're essentially replacing one unit with another by adding another unit to your hand. So having a 5k unit could be a beater when you're running out of resources. It should just help you boost your Vanguard and hit numbers. So it's nice like that, and definitely still worth an inclusion. Next, we have 4 Lorentz Force Dragon, honestly one of the key pieces, again, in this deck. So similar to the Jewel Knight's grade 2, its skill is when your grade 3 Eradicator Vanguard is placed, cost 1 to retire one of your opponent's rear guards at random with priority to the back row. Fortunately, it isn't front row retire, it doesn't give you the option, but cost 1 to retire 1 is already really good, really cost efficient. And when your opponent doesn't have back row, you're retiring front row. In addition, your VOWING SABER reverse, to get the crit, you need 3 retires. VOWING SABER itself retires 2 only. So having Lorentz Force or having the Break Ride both helps you achieve that 3rd retire much more efficiently, and is really important. So I don't really agree with builds that don't play Lorentz Force. It's too important to not have. And if you wanted to, well, even if you just left it in the back row, right, you can still use it as a lock target, even if it doesn't hit anything. So it's good like that. It's really good like that. So generally speaking, you're going to set it up on your turn 2. When you ride your vowing, you can retire 1 for cheap. You can proc your Blade Hang. And then your Break Ride turn, well, if you miss the Break Ride, you can still use your Lorentz Force to actually proc that retire. You can even choose to, if you have 2 Lorentz Forces and 1 VOWING Sword, you might not even need to use the lock ability in order to get the crit. So that's nice. It's a really obscure play, but it can happen sometimes. We play 2 Saucer Cannon Wyverns. We're not playing Dragonic Death Size because it's not an Eradicator, and the cards like Blade Hang does need when an Eradicator name retires something, so less of those please. Saucer Cannon Wyvern is still nice. You can choose which unit to retire. You have a lot of cards that prioritize back row, so retiring front row necessarily isn't as restrictive as in other builds. And it's just nice like that. It is Counterblast heavy with Counterblast 2, so avoid playing too many of these, but it's still a really good option. We play 4 9+3s and 3 10Ks because, well, when you lock your units, when you need to lock 2, you will notice that a lot of your units might not be able to hit numbers when your opponent could be playing, 12k grade 2s or 10k grade 2s. Your 9Ks like this, Lorentz Force, Death Scythe is popular as well. The Unflipper Zuiton is popular as well. They can't really hit, and so if you can't go rear guard, and then Vanguard, VOWING SABER to Vanguard, your play is kind of like meh. Your play is pretty meh. You can choose to just lock 2 and then, retire 2 more, but it only works if your opponent doesn't have a full board, right? If your opponent has a full board with 3 back row and 2 front row, well, you're still only retiring, well, 1 of the front row with one of your with your 2 procs of the skill. And if your opponent has something awkward like, well, I mean, even then, you are kind of, I feel like you're overusing the skill and you're kind of limiting your options. You need to commit a lot in order to lock in the first place. You don't really necessarily lose those resources because they are on the board, but you lose those resources because they're not in your hand, and that means you're clogging up your options in your future turns, which I really don't like. I like keeping my options open, my board state open, clean and simple, and not that vulnerable, especially in the metagame where there's a lot of retire base clans and Link Joker lock base clans prong around right in the corner. Next we have our boss of VOWING SABER Dragon Reverse. Vanguard Circle, Lemon Break 4, -1, lock to Eradicator rearguards to get +10 until end of turn. Retire 2 of your opponent's rearguards at random with priority to the back row. And during your turn, if you have 3 or more of your opponent's rearguards retired by your card effect, +1 crit. Important to note that the second skill is not Lemon Break 4, so if you do have the double Lorentz play, and you have or triple Lorentz play for some reason, you can proc that VOWING SABER reverse early. It basically never happens, but it is a possibility. If there are cheaper retire options in the future, which we will see in set 15, VOWING SABER could proc its +1 crit in the early game. So that's definitely one advantage over Gauntlet Buster Dragon. Gauntlet Buster Dragon's retire skill or crit gain only activates on Lemon Break 4. This is 2 different skills. So that's important to note moving forward. There could be more potential with VOWING SABER reverse than most people could expect. And of course, it's a cross ride. Cross ride with VOWING Sword, it has great synergy. When rode upon +10, retire 1 of your opponent's front row rearguards. So when you retire 1 with Break Ride, retire 2 with VOWING SABER reverse, well, you have 3, you get the crit, and then you're good to go. In addition, on attack Vanguard, it gets +3, so 14k beater. If you have a 7k behind it, it's 21. If you have a 5k behind it, it's 19. Bullying grade 2s, bullying grade 3, 11k Vanguards. It's nice. We're playing 1 Gauntlet Buster because, well, crit option is still nice option. Last 2 to retire something with priority to the back row, and then getting 3 in a crit when you have Limit Break 4 is really nice. So that is cool. And we have Dragonic Descendant as our heal trigger option. Really an alternate win condition, but it can also support your VOWING SABER reverse. Its skill is when Limit Break 4 when it attacks and it does not hit. Last 1, discard 2 Eradicators, stand this unit and draw 2 cards, and it gets +1 crit until end of turn. So the idea is because this deck plays more pure Eradicators than the other builds, you're more consistently being able to proc Dragonic Descendant. In addition, with the VOWING SABER or your Vowing turns with Blade Hand, Draco Kid, and your crit generation and whatnot, sometimes you will put your opponent to 5 and you can't really seal off the game. Well, Dragonic Descendant plays the best when your opponent's at 5 damage. Take advantage of it, and it's really good to go as well. In addition, Caramelist 2 to get +5. You'll rarely use this, but it does help you hit over numbers and helps you activate its Limit Break much more easily. So that's basically the build. Let's go straight to a fight and see how it goes. So honestly, again, this deck is a fun build, but I see a lot of potential with VOWING SABER reverse into the future, with some set 15 support, with cheaper, more cost-efficient retires like Break Ride Camelast 1, retire 2. You have grade 1 support that helps you retire stuff. I think the deck could actually see some more play. Unfortunately, most people are playing new stuff because common saying new stuff, good stuff, because they need to sell stuff. But I do think that VOWING SABER is a card that could see some opportunities in the future. So I can't wait till set 15. Maybe I'll get to test it and bring it back up in the future. So let's see. We're gonna play a mirror match. Overall here, your key grade 1 is either the Demolition Dragon or the Shuki. Your key grade 2 is Lorentz Force. And your key grade 3 is VOWING Sword, the Break Ride. Overall here, it's a pretty good hand. We're playing against Eradicators that does have crit pressure, as you know. Gauntlet Buster gives extra crit, VOWING SABER gives you extra crit, and Descendant gives extra crit. We might not need to care about that because our opponent's playing Saishin, so it might be a Vermilion deck actually, surprisingly, so there's that. With the Blade Hand Draco Kid, I generally like to put it behind the Vanguard circle. Reason being is because, well, sometimes you have double Lorentz Force. You want to keep them in the back row and keep them safe so you get those cheap retires on your grade 3 turn. So that's, I prioritize those cheap retires over bigger columns in the rear guards. And the 7k boosters become 10k boosters and help your rear columns much more valuably than helping your Vanguard column. So it does seem like it is going to be a Vermilion build. Let's turn on the animations, so we might be able to see VOWING SABER, and we damage check a Dragonic Descendant, nothing much here. We're going to ride 10k, 10k is pretty vanilla. We're going to call out the Lorentz Force, and we're just going to swing. Heal trigger, awesome, really good, and we heal. So we are still missing grade 3s. Generally speaking, for my play, I'm not that greedy. As long as I have grade 1s and grade 2s, I do think that you will eventually draw into grade 3. I don't like mulliganing more non-trigger units to maybe potentially draw into multiple trigger units. Just not for me. And in this game, not having grade 3 actually means that you have a higher odd of hitting, grade 3s, as in the form of triggers later on. So that's okay. We damage check a VOWING. We don't have a grade 3, but that's fine. I think that's absolutely okay. We're going to push up a 10k, and we're just going to sink 10 to 9, and then 15 to Vanguard. I'm going to be pushing like this because we already saw 2 heal triggers, so attacking with Vanguard first isn't that important, or the odds of hitting a heal isn't that high. And we don't mind taking damage and conserving our grade 2 units for later on as well. Didn't really call out the Lorentz Force. Maybe you can argue that's a misplay. I just didn't really want to commit too much on the board, especially when we don't really know when we're going to see a grade 3 after all. Opponent rides the Vermilion, a really nice SP Vermilion from the rank reward, by the way. On Flipper. Alright, we see the Saucer Cannon Wyvern. PG, Eradicator PG. Alright, Desert Gunner. Alright, Demolition Dragon. They might retire the Demolition Dragon here. That'd be pretty neat. Alright. Let's see a grade 3, please. Alright, Gauntlet. Does that mean I have to redo this video? Okay, we're gonna proc the Lawrence Force because cheap retire is good retire, even though it's just a Phoenix. It's nice to get rid of it. We're gonna just push forward a little bit. Giving them a limit break here is a really bad position, but we really need to start pushing for damage. We're not really seeing anything happening on our end, so. One bad thing about this card is it's retired by card effect. Vermilion doesn't really retire by card effect. It retires by battle, so you don't actually build up a 22k column through this this combo. And this is the same case with Shuki as well. So technical difficulties. Apologies. Vowing Saber. Not gonna push them to 5, so we can avoid Vermilion Thunderbolts. Vowing Saber. Thanks for saying hi, I guess. The Blood. Armor Break Dragon. Alright. I have a similar build. Fun deck. Fun deck. Fun deck. So next turn is our make or break. We can push and see how far we go. Okay. So next turn we can threaten for 2 PGs. 100% threaten for 2 PGs, and let's just see what our opponent has. So Vanguard first, proc the PG. Draw trigger, really good. That's 1 PG. Now let's see if our opponent has 1 more. Okay. So, I guess no Vowing Saber, so we're gonna do this again. Let's get it, come on. Alright, should I mulligan hard for Vowing Sword then? Oh man. Let's get it. Let's not play against Garmor though, please. This deck does, like, retired decks does have a really bad time in that Garmor matchup. Alright. We have OTT with Kaden here. Let's get it, Kaden. Now, OTT. Oh, SP Wowing Saber. Let's go. All right, let's keep one. Generally speaking, in actual game, I would never keep Wowing Saber. It's only because, well, I guess I really am desperately trying to showcase it and still win. Another hope is that it's not a VP farmer. So, please help me out. Demolition Dragon. We're gonna stick with the plan. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Come on. Come on. Play. Play. Ah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you all next game. Ugh. Ugh. Nasty. 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 Oh my god. Again? Yay. Alright. Title of this video. OP deck 3 zeros at Legend 41. Alright, we're gonna go for it. Come on, please just let me. Yeah, one thing that's super funny is like people are complaining that or are joking about how Naoki hard nerfs Gauntlet Buster because he elbows Gauntlet Buster's face off the picture. All right, we have a royal fight. El Tanjiro's GG. Please make this game happen. Oh my god, finally. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Here we go. Ideally, we have Lawrence Force 2 to showcase Lawrence Force, but hey, I'll take this. I'll take this. Generally speaking, if you play this deck, you should not keep Wowing Saber reverse. It's great and all, but the deck still works with all the other grade 3s. So just note that. Wowing Saber is the ideal break red option, but you have a lot of turns till you break red, so eventually you could draw into it like just now. Blade Hang Draco Kid. Swing. Draw trigger. Very nice. We have 2 PGs. Oh, wow. Things are going our way. Blaster Blade expected. In Global, you're still going to be playing the Gancelot Blaster Blade engine. Does that even count as an engine? It's like 2-card combo. Generally speaking, you see Heloise behind the Vanguard circle though, so it's interesting. Maybe missing out on boosters. Again, because, well, one thing is you want to boost your Vanguard because Salome crit pressure, right? But Tilda also, you don't want to clog your back row with Heloise because you might want to put double Tilda. Exactly like this deck. You want your double Lawrence Force, so. 2 sides of the same coin. Alright, we're just going to ride the 10k. Pretty vanilla. We're going to call out this, and we're going to push for 2 damage. Nothing too special here. Saving the Counterblast to retire 1, Cannon Saucer Wyvern, because we don't really have Lawrence 4 setup, so still Counterblast to retire 1 to proc the Blade Hang is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Ashley. SP Ashley, by the way, so that's super neat. Tilda. Metal me? But why Metal me though? Interesting. Okay, okay. Demolition. Gonna be put to 3-2. And it's already not bad because our opponent already hit a heal, right? So we can still hit one for ourselves and tip the scales. Draw trigger though, that's not bad. Would have rather the heal trigger, but it's an option. Alright, so clearly we're gonna go for vowing here. No questions asked, right? Roar. We're gonna go for gonna keep the Draco Kid because we are low on boosters, so I kind of value that. Call out the bounties, they were to hit numbers. Put them to 4, that's okay. That's a PG, that's nice. 3 left. Alright, no heal triggers for us. Draw trigger for them. The Break Ride lets them pick up a grade 1 or less, but they have a lot of grade 1s already. Grade 1s and grade 0s on the board, so they are a bit cloggy. And if they do go for the Break Ride turn and go for like all the big plays, well, they might have to step on their own units to make way. Even with Salome, you have 3 crit, and that's quite a bit of pressure, but we have 2 PGs, so we're not that afraid. But that animation is honestly one of the best ones in game so far, I have to say. We're calling the Prismy, so helps you discard 1, draw 1. Ashley. Ganslaw into Blaster Blade. So they can swing 3 shots to the face. Step on themselves. So yeah, this is one of the issues when you clog your board with too many grade 1s. It happens and you're essentially menacing yourself. Not using Blaster Blade, interestingly enough. Good play, good play. So this way they're basically damage denying us at 3. They have the option to hit the VOWING SABER reverse rearguard instead. Alright. With that said, we do have options to break through their defenses. If we use our Cannon Wyvern, we break that 12k wall. We put the Draco Kid into the soul. It's a 2 crit Vanguard, right? So that's a really good option. I'm considering it. Considering also calling for lethal. So let's just go for it. Saucer, the Blade Hang Draco Kid for 2 crit. You do. Oh, I can't really call for lethal because I need 1 more swing. So let's just leave it at this. Don't commit too much stuff. And just, you know, proc PG or win. Draw trigger. Please have PG. Please have PG so I can actually use VOWING SABER. Please. No! Yes! Heal! Yes! Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Good lad. You did good, El Tanjiros. You healed. My man. You did it. Oh my god. Thank you. I've never expected myself to celebrate a 6 damage heal as much as doing these goddamn videos. Feels good though, feels good. Alright, Prismy. Filtering through the deck, really good play actually. Good, get a bigger booster. You're reducing the number of non-triggers in your deck. You're not going to use the Counterblast anyways. Well, you can blast your blade here. It's good. Maybe they should have done last turn. But they wanted to do the damage deny play, which is also fair. Same with the Counterblast. I do think that they still have... Oh, that's all the Blaster Blades. So maybe they do want to use the Salome to rebuild the board in the future. Heal trigger doesn't really matter. Pew 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 pew! Crit power! Wow! Oh, they need to sack. Oh wow! Big walls. The heal did play a role. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, here. If you were playing this actual game, you have to go for Descendant. No reason not to go to Descendant, right? But because it is a VOWING SABER build, we're gonna go for VOWING SABER. All right, that's the only reason why. Don't worry, I'm not stupid. It's just a deck profile video. So pretend it doesn't exist. Pretend it doesn't exist. We're gonna put this here. Okay. Honestly, should have put the Phoenix on the corner. Getting ahead of myself because, well, then this way, well, at least the 5 can boost the 7 to a 12 or something, right? So that's a misplay. That's a misplay, but all things considered, isn't that big of a misplay in my opinion. So I'm gonna justify it like that. We're just gonna lock 2 Eradicators. Shuki hits 13 key numbers now. Oh wow, that looks cool. That's pretty sick. All right, I'll call one out. We can lock again and just burn the entire row, like field, but there is no reason to, right? Because there are our opponents at 5 damage. Just swing for lethal. Just swing for lethal. Yes. Okay, we get to smash with the 2 crits, and if not, we can have an extra turn to smash with extra and clear the entire board. It's good. I'm happy with this video. That's basically it. Boom, boom, bye bye. VOWING SABER, 3 zeros on ladder, wins games. Alright, so there you have it, folks. Rank up to 42, another 30 gems for me. And that is basically it for this video. Like the video if you liked it. Put more effort into it this time. Thank you for those who gave me feedback. There you go. I actually used VOWING SABER, I won the fight, and our opponent procced the 6 damage shield just so we can make this happen. So this is really awesome. Enjoyed making this video. Like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, okay, till next time.